Just a quick notice that our session is being recorded today for those people who cannot join us. And if you feel comfortable, you can just turn off your camera and mute your microphone to reduce the noise. And we're going to move to the next slide. I know today a lot of people are coming from different part of the world or local from Canada. Before we start everything and dive into the agenda, I just want to take a moment do and lend acknowledgement. This is a tradition that UBC campus event always do, no matter where you are. Please join me to acknowledge that the UBC Vancouver campus is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nation. Our program and our faculty is well committed to the work with Indigenous community reconciliation, and our program, our curriculum is very related to this part of the work. And moving forward, you will know more about this. On the side, you can see the picture of a totem pole. This is the one that's standing on the UBC, the square that in front of the bookstore. It is basically like the front of the campus. If you don't know about us, basically it gives us a very strong symbol. And our elders of Musqueam people taught us that before long time ago, it was their ancestor standing on this land, open their arms and hands to welcome the explorer Vancouver come to this land. And the same thing coming today, that they are still welcoming us to be the part of the campus to learn, study, and play here. So also wanted you to take a little bit moment to really think about the land and the place you all lived on. It's pretty straightforward for our event today. Basically, we want to introduce who we are and give a little bit overview about the program. And I will open it up about our admission, and the rest of the time try to do our best to give your stage to ask questions. You will see the blue bar on or the blue square on the right hand side. It is the channel we use to post question. I will bring this QR code up again later, and you can use this to post your questions. And Anna is just putting in the link in the chat box. So, who we are? Well, we are the MND Master of Nutrition and Dietetics program team. So we have 3 members here. Our Director of Dietetics, Tamara Cohen, and she's waving there. And in the middle, we have our MND program lead, our faculty lecturer, Anna Briscoe. And me, well, most of the people know that I'm the doorkeeper or the gatekeeper for the program, and the program assistant. And joining us today, we also have 2 very phenomenal or expertise in grad studies. They are Leah Maria, the admission and administrative coordinator, and Iris, the program assistant. For the entire faculty, not just our program. Why I say they hold the expertise is that if you're not only interested in the Master of Nutrition and Dietetics program, but also thinking about other programs and you want to explore more about our faculty grad programs, they are the experts. So you can go ahead and ask them questions about other programs. But let's pull back to today about our program. So before I move forward for the overview, I just want to highlight that we have those venues to convey our information to you. Most of the information of the admission of our program is posted on our own website. Very easy to remember, dietetics.landandfood.ubc.ca. And the second one, of course, our faculty and the grad studies is trying to promote our program as well. So you can find other information like the program overview, program curriculum on the faculty website. And the third one, you can see some of the financial pieces. Usually the tuition is not structure related to us. It's more broad control by the Board of Governors of the university. So the most tuition information and financial information will be posted on the grad study website. Of course, you have questions, that's the email I have, and always shoot me an email with your question. Okay, so now I'm going to pass the floor to our program director, Tamara Cohen, and she will introduce a little bit about our program.
Thank you, Shinyan, and so great to have you all join us here today. And thank you for your interest in our Masters of Nutrition and Dietetics program. So the Masters of Nutrition and Dietetics and our undergraduate dietetics program share the same vision and mission, as we hope to really inspire our students and our learners to advance dietetics practice here in Canada, and that also encompasses our values towards our food systems. We hope and are very, very committed to preparing our learners in both programs to have all the tools that they need to enter practice in very different facets of dietetics right out of our program. So as we go on, we'll be explaining what that means in more detail. But very importantly, our program is based on some very important grounding principles. And those stem from inclusion, working towards social justice as it relates to dietetic practice. We remain very community focused, and when looking at different dietetic practice, if that's patient or client focused, our program is very much in our values rather, in tuned with collaborative approaches, and we always make sure that we function with integrity. That's Shinyan. I'll continue on here.
Okay,
so
sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. So the MND is a 28-month program. Would you like me to continue speaking, Shinyan?
Yeah.
Overview. Yeah. So this is a program intended for individuals who are interested in becoming registered dietitians. So the way it works is you would meet all the prerequisites, which Shinyan will explain to the program. And it is a full-time program, so we don't offer this program as a part-time basis. And it's really the only one offered in Western Canada in that it is integrated, in that your practice education placement, so you might know those as internships, which we don't use anymore. We talk about practice education, spans 38 weeks total, but throughout the program, so that it's integrated throughout. So the idea is that you go out into practice ed, you collect your experiences, and you bring them back to the classroom setting. We're very adamant, and we want to make it clear from this moment moving forward that relocation across the province will likely happen. So students need to be prepared to relocate at their own expense. And again, the degree outcomes are to be entry to practice. So what that means is that here at UBC, we're committed to making sure that you're competent and that you're geared up for success to write the national exam. So across Canada, you have to write a national exam to become licensed. And then your name is put on a list with whichever province you end up to be registered within that province. So we do not register students. We provide the name to our college, which is the College of Dietitians of British Columbia. And then they work with you to set you up to write the exam, and then you pass it and register. So this program is right now going through the motions of become accredited with a third party called Equal. So we are set up for that. And quite unique to this program, and we'll go over some of those nuances between differences of the undergrad and the master's, is that this program does have a research capstone project. So if you're interested in research, strictly research in nutrition, this would not be the program for you. Again, this is a program to have you licensed to become dietitians, but it does have a research component, and that's what really makes it quite unique to our undergraduate program. And there we have it. Okay.
Thank you so much, Tamara.
Okay.
All right. So what does the course really look like? I'm going to pass the floor to Anna to talk about our courses.
Hello, everyone. So I am the sort of lead on curriculum and things like that. And so this is what the schedule looks like for the program. So the first year is really that foundational knowledge in nutrition and dietetics. We have counseling skills, population public health, clinical nutrition, And those foundational pieces of professional practice, research methods, human nutrition and across the lifespan nutrition assessment, all of those core pieces. And then in the summer following, there is the first part of practice education. And so that is 2 different placements, one in clinical, one in population health, and also getting the start on that capstone research project that Tamara was just talking about. So that's really important to get that project started and then come back for year 2. So bringing those amazing experiences you have over the summer all across the province, coming back to UBC on campus in Vancouver, and then building on those skills. So kind of getting to more advanced levels in terms of food service management, business, more nutrition care and deeper into that, and leadership, as well as, Indigenous health and dietetics, and then another professional practice class. So that's also when that second term you'll get back to really doing the actual research, collecting data, analysis, all of that piece on your capstone project. And then after that, you go back into practice education. There are 4 more placements then, and over the summer and into the fall. And then that's when you would be meeting all your competencies, sign off, and then you would be able to register as a temporary registrant with the college and register to write the exam. So I just wanted to point out a little bit, just at a very high level, that there are a few differences and similarities with the undergraduate curriculum. About half of the courses are cross-listed, so they're not all sort of marked out, but the nutrition care courses are cross-listed with the undergraduate program as well as the professional practice classes, but there are some classes that are specific to the master's program, and of course the leadership course, the Indigenous health and dietetics, and then particularly obviously the research capstone project. So that is kind of, the undergrad program has more courses related to food systems specifically because it's part of the faculty, but that's kind of the main differences. And yeah, that's kind of all I have here. So I think, Shanyan, you can take it away.
Thank you so much, Anna, as well. So that lay out our 28 months of this program, and I am going to talk about how you're going to get into this. And so as we are dietitians, I'm not really dietitian, but we are the dietitian program. So I will put it in the metaphor that this part will be like cooking a dish. So we're going to break it down to what kind of ingredient you need and how to cook this dish, how to prepare your application. So when we talk about the ingredients for this application, this is the admission requirement part. For us, we are looking at those items as I listed on the screen. So grad studies has their basic academic requirement. Has a link here. If you talk to me, I will give you the link as well. So this link will show you that which university or which country you finish your undergrad degree. Then they will have a baseline of what kind of GPA required there. Okay, so this is the first part you can check. And first, we have the prerequisite courses. I will dive a little bit deep here. And then the other part of the application is resume and statement to show, I would say this is non-academic part, to show your skill, to show your ability, show who you are to this program. And as part of the grad application, reference is always required. So 3 references, 1 academic, 1 professional, and the third one can be always either academic or professional. So I'm going to stop using our the PowerPoint slides, but walk you to our website where we host all of the information there. Okay, I'm gonna pull in the website. Can everybody see? Awesome. So this is our website, as I just mentioned, easy to remember, dietetics.londonfield.ubc.ca. So once you dive into this, click prospective student and go to grad admission. Okay, and there's some overview our Tamara and Anna just talked about. And what I want you to look at first is what I say, the ingredient, the requirement part. So this year, we list more clear information about the prerequisite course. I have tons of questions from our prospective student, very lovely. We are looking at 5 prerequisites, or I would say more like subject area. Human physiology, biochemistry, stats, introductory nutrition, and introductory food science course. So we also list some examples that UBC offer. but that does not mean that you have to complete all of the courses at UBC. You can complete those courses anywhere as long as it has this equivalency. So how to check this equivalency? Wrote it down to the end of this section. We have the prerequisite flowchart. We made it this year, and it'll be more, handy to do the work. So it looks like this. So if you are completing UBC, great. If you're not completing those courses in the UBC, if you're completing in the BC, any colleges, use BC Transfer Guide first to see if this course is transferable to UBC. And then we also give you a MMD proved prerequisite course list. This is great work. Anna did cross-lay with other health science program who also need those kind of prerequisites. So this is a handy document. If you are not planning to apply this year, but in the future years you're looking for courses, you're in the third year, use this form to find maybe the college or the institution close to you. Most of the college and the universities across Canada have been listed here. Okay, you can take a look and see if we listed the certain course code there. We will definitely take those courses in your application. And the last but not least is that if you find out that all of the courses is not that list on the sheet there, I'm an international student, I completed a course in my own country, how I can do the declaration. Then you go to the box here. You see, we give you a prerequisite checklist. So in the checklist there, basically, we pull all of the information from the 5 subjects, list out the core part of the syllabus. So you need to just do your self-due diligence, pull your own core syllabus up and compare this with what the checklist is saying. Take everything off and combine the checklist and your core syllabus together as part of your application document. You're going to upload those into the self-report form, which is the how to do part I'm going to talk about later. So this is how you prepare everything. Of course, there's resume requirement as a statement of intent requirement there as well. I'm not going to dive too deep of that. You can take a look, like we give you the guidance how to prepare and write those documents. Okay, so once you have everything, let's now cook it into the application stage. There are 2 parts of application you need to do. First is a major part where you pay your fee, you upload your transcript, your CV, your statement of intent. That is the application portal offered by G+PS Grad Studies. You will register there, you will have a CWL account, and then you start your application via this portal. Okay? And to the end, it will ask you information for your reference, and the system will trigger emails to contact those reference people, and they will submit the reference after you submit your application. And in terms of documents, we also give you the templates I want to highlight as well. We have the resume templates this year, and you can download. And the statement of intent is definitely required by using our templates. So you're going to download the statement of intent templates, and you are the template set up maximum words you can write. So 250 words about, introduce yourself, who you are, why you fit into the program, and then you combine everything along with the transcript, upload it to the G+PS application portal. And you probably will ask me, where can I talk about my course equivalency? Okay, that's the part we design as the subline of this entire application, the self-report form. So last year when I handled all of the applications, some of the students are not completing those self-report form. It really gives the admission committee a little bit challenge time to locate your course. So definitely submit your course syllabus if you are falling into the last category, you are completing courses overseas or somewhere that we don't really recognize. Make sure you upload your supportive document, fill out the self-report form there, and then when we assemble your application along with the self-report form, we can try to find out the courses on your transcript and give a fair evaluation on the academic part. Okay, So that's the beginning part. You complete everything and submit your document by the deadline, which is November the 15th. And then you're gonna sit there and wait a little bit until January. You will hear from us if you have been shortlisted for an interview. The interview will be scheduled in the beginning of February, and we will give you more information till that moment. And then we shortlist again. We will compete and talk. I would say that last year I am not the person make the final decision, but I chaired everything. We have a very fair process to make sure that we really find the person fit for the program. And also, we want student success in the program and be a very professional health practitioner, the registered dietitian for BC or for Canada in the future. So that's the entire part. I have to cook. I have to present this dish to us, how we're gonna do. All right, I'm gonna switch back to the presentation. So, the other thing that just a quick touch base, because we're going to take a look at 5 subjects of your prerequisite, this year we have some consideration put in is that if there's a challenge for taking FNH 200, which is the food science course, we got a lot of inquiry about that. You are allowed to put this course in progress, and you can also have 1 additional course in progress as well. Okay, but this condition cannot be aligned with another condition, which is condition B, that you have a credit or a complete grades of 1 course. So in another example, I would say that if a student submits an application, say, I'll have 2 courses in progress, and also I have another course in credit, it will be very hard for us to make a judgment like how we can assess your knowledge on the nutrition or food science background. Okay, so this has been talked about. We have a full flow chat over there. And also I'm handling the undergrad program admission as well. So just want to show you that this year we really consider about, pooling those 2 applications a different timeline. So in your case, you have the 2 opportunities. It's really rely on you. If you think you're eligible for the undergrad program, you can also apply. They're slightly different. You can see that for the grad process, I've been clearly said that there's 2-level grad studies and us. For the undergrad, the same thing. You need to apply into BSFN, which is Bachelor of Food Science Nutrition program, complete your transfer credit, and then complete the required prerequisite courses, which are 54 credits of courses. And then their deadline is by the end of January. Of course, they have other parts a little bit similar to us, but the way we assess it will be a little bit different. So seats offering, just a bit data here as well. A lot of students also ask, we are looking for 12 to 14 seats, and the undergrad can offer 34 to 36. Some of students asking about last year's status. I can just quickly talk about that. We have actually valid 54 applications last year, and we shortlist 24 students for the interview, and eventually, as we see, 12 seats has been offered. So that's how last year's been completed. But we don't know what's going on for this year. This is our 2nd year for the recruitment, for the admission, and we're really looking forward for diverse, different backgrounds of students applying. And you're thinking about at the life crossroad, and thinking about what should I do. Maybe think about being a dietitian. This is a trajectory you can choose and switch your career and into the health science or health service area. So this is how our application has been assessed. I also when I talk about how we cook this, how we made this up, I was talking about how we calculate your application as well. So I think that's pretty much it about my overview and our team's overview. We have about 30 minutes, so we can do the Q&A part. All right, I am gonna pull up the Q&A page again. And let's see some questions. Ooh, okay, this is my. We have a lot of questions here. And the first one, may you expand how previous UBC student can retake a class to meet the grade minimum of prerequisite classes? Okay, I can answer that question. So I know there's a not very nice policy that if you are a UBC student, you cannot retake a class. So what we can do is, there are some similar courses offered in, especially this, I guess it's challenging for students in our own faculty. If you want to retake the course in a FNH or LFS, this is not very possible, but you can slightly tweak to another course. For example, Stats 200 is equivalent to LFS 252. It's also equivalent to Forest 231. So you can take the other course in another faculty to complete this repeat course. The other option is not very ideal, but I should say that you can try, other college or other, as I listed the equivalent list there, you can try some of the other options that we listed for other college. The second question, are COVID vaccine mandatory for this program, specifically for the practice placement? The answer is yes. So in terms of immunization, we list a couple items on the website already, and the COVID vaccination for now hasn't been taken off. It is required. How many places will there be for the 2023 intake? So I kind of give the idea of the intake ratio. So as we present, it's 12 to 14 seats for next year. Going on, what is the acceptance rate for the 2022 admission? I already mentioned about that, how we, doing this pyramid review and intake. So we're gonna do it again. So we have 54 valid application, 24 interviewed, and 12 are offered. What are some examples of the things you might be doing in the practicum placement? Okay, this is a question I want Anna, maybe I can talk a little bit about, or want Anna talk about that.
Sure, I can talk about it. So, so the practice education placements, essentially you are paired with a preceptor who is a professional, whether they are a dietitian or they are someone else in a supervisory role, for example, in a management placement, and you are working with them to develop your skills in that area of practice. And so there are also other elements to it, but essentially really working on, if you're in a clinical setting, it would be working on doing nutrition assessments, seeing clients, and progressively building on those skills. If you were in food service management, it would be similar. You might be doing some training, you might be doing menu planning, all of these different aspects of someone's job, but not necessarily in a way where you're just taking over their job. It's more about learning how to do all these pieces and feeling comfortable with those competency skills. And so that's kind of it. It really varies. You do placements in hospitals or in outpatient or at private practice or in community organizations or all kinds of things. So there's a lot of variety in the placement locations, but basically that you're working with some direct supervision from a qualified professional, and it's really about learning the skills of being a dietitian.
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, I see full potentiality of our placement in the graduate level. It could be very creative, but also professional. So is the undergrad program 4 years, even if it is your second bachelor degree? Okay, so for the undergrad program, just briefly say that it's a 5-year program. It's not a 4-year program. The 2 years that is in, if you're a FNH major student, you spend 2 years to complete the prerequisite, and then same process or similar process to be selected, and then come into the dietetics major. You spend 3 years in the program to complete all the component requirement. So total is 5 years. And if you are a second degree application, so the 3 years part cannot be shortened. The reason is that it is aligned with the placement practice education timeline. So you may be, finished some of the courses already. Yes, some of the credit may be waived by the student services with our negotiation, but the timeline will still be 3 years. Okay. Is the placement paid? No. So for all of the placement, actually a practice education course, this should be very clearly talked about, is that It's a class, it's a course, so you work with the preceptor, with the field leader profession, but also you have the course component part. You connect with like Anna, with Tamara to complete those course component, and the evaluation is given actually combined, or like we will need to grade all of the courses. And so I just deal with this issue earlier. Some students have questioned why this is, it's an on-campus course, so it's not really a paid like co-op or internship. Is there any financial aid for international students? Great question. So for the financial part, so generally speaking, any or most of the professional graduate program at UBC does not offer strong financial support. Most of the time, students need to rely on their own financial budgeting. And our program is trying the best to seek donor or other resources and trying to support our students, especially the placement part. So in the admission period, there's nothing we can guarantee to support you. You will need to think about how to financially support your own program. Okay. Is a student graduate with nutrition science major from UBC suitable to apply? Oh, it's just gone quickly. Suitable to apply, I guess, for the master program. Of course, yes. So I forgot to mention that Tamara last year mentioned about or saying about loud this. Our program welcomes background in different areas. You can be a firefighter, you can be a nurse, you can be in kinesiology. We have the student actually admitted to our cohort is from psychology background, MBA background. So you can from any background. The way we assess your nutrition foundation are those 5 prerequisite courses. Okay. If one of the prerequisite course does not have the minimum score, is it still possible to apply? If not, how can this prerequisite be achieved? Great question. So we state clear on the website this year, all of the prerequisites need to be 72 or be above. And if you have a little bit challenge for 1 or 2, you can retake the course by using the list I just showed. You can find a course at UBC or any other institution as long as it meets all the equivalency. Oh, okay. So I guess this question's come up again. So I'm saying that it's suitable for apply for MND, yes. And also, especially from our own background, our own faculty, you can apply both, the dietetics major as well. What is the competitive GPA for the MND? Okay, so this is, when I talk about stats, I didn't mention about this because it's a different way of seeing it, because we see general GPA from all kinds of different institutions, and different institutions have a different way to calculate your GPA. So some of the institutions use the 4 points scale. Some of them, like UBC, is using 100 points scale. And so it will be a little bit different. But I would say that you first of all need to meet what graduate studies required. Okay, the next question will be how much dietitian pay in BC? Can Anna or Tamara answer that?
Yeah, it's not really our jurisdiction to say exactly how much they're paid, but I would say if you're interested in this, the best way to find out is to look at job postings. There's often ones out there, and it'll give you specific sort of numbers in terms of hourly wage, which most jobs are unionized, so they have really clearly stated beginning wages and then, carrying on, but that would be the easiest way to find out. Or you can also look on I think it's Work BC has a list of professions, but I can try and find that, but yeah, we don't necessarily keep that specific information. That's more up to the employers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I just want to also add to that, dietetics is an evolving profession. We work in all different facets. If it's not government, population and public health, clinical, so that's more acute care centers. We work in food service management, industry, pharmaceutical, the list goes on and on. So to isolate it just to one job, you can see it's nearly next to impossible. So that's what's sort of neat about dietetics. It's almost like the world is your oyster, and the tools that you'll gain in being a dietitian, particularly coming and joining us in the MMD, will really open that up. So we encourage you, as Anna said, to go out and do some more Googling and exploration, and you'll see that dietitians are found everywhere.
Yes, thank you. How the grad and undergrad admission assessment different? So I just talk a little bit about that, but if you want to dig a deep about that, first of all, a little bit peak for the undergrad, there's a big involvement or change for next year's admission. So we will release more information on the website, but one thing I can tell you difference is that for the grad studies, we still need the reference, but for the undergrad, the reference part is fading away. In terms of the pieces, the written package piece is still the similar. It's the place for us to assess not only your academic background, but also other parts like your capacity, your competency, your like interperson skill. So that could be very similar. And if you want to know more about the undergrad pieces, keep your eye on the website, and we will post more information after the mid of the September. Yeah. Okay. If one of the prerequisite courses does not meet the minimum score, can I show this course grades as complete? So when I receive or when we start to assess all of the application, we base on the data or the information reflected from your transcript. It's not that you say, oh, this is complete. It is really complete. It's what being written on your transcript, and we gather the data from there. Okay. The BSc in nutrition from India, MSc thesis in nutrition biochemistry from Canada. If I get in, my credit can transfer and reduce program duration. Okay, it's a little bit broken question, but I just want to give out the first part of the idea that can I apply? Yes, you can apply. Definitely you have certain background of nutrition, so I assume you will have certain knowledge of those prerequisites. You know what's going on with the nutrition world. Great. The second part of the credit transfer, so for graduate program, I would say there's very limited chance the credit can be transferred. It's a totally different learning system versus the undergrad. Undergrad is asking for you to transfer credit, but for the graduate program, everything will start with our program, and also learning trajectory is really tied into our program value and mission. So the curriculum is different. We're not really taking a lot of transfer credit. Tamara has something?
Can I add?
Yeah.
And I saw there was a question about accreditation, and it speaks to this point that our program is going through the motions, so it will be accredited. And part of that process is that we guarantee that you gain all the tools, or they're called competencies, by the time you exit. So for that reason, we can't grant any exemptions on courses. We really need to check those boxes off, and this is more at a national accreditation and regulatory sort of jurisdiction level. So unfortunately, if anything, you'll be real masters of those topics if they're repeats for you, and hopefully you'll be able to help your peers. But in the short, the answer will be no, we really can't do any of those exemptions.
Oh, thank you, Tamara. I think the question just go down a lot. I think the next question is also good for Anna or Tamara to answer. What are the details of the capstone research project? Really big.
Sure, I can speak to this. So this is quite unique to our program, and I know our current cohort is quite excited about this, as are Anna and I, to support this. So in short, our missions or our objectives for this capstone research project are really to advance dietetic practice and challenge some of those evidence-based practices that we have currently to move it forward. The idea is that students would be paired. So unlike a master's thesis in a traditional format where you're sort of alone out there doing your own discoveries, Here you would be paired up. In terms of those details of what those capstone projects are, we don't know. It will really come for us to solicit clinical dietitians in practice, our own faculty here at UBC, and our idea is we would present to you an array of topics, and as a team you would choose them. But at the end of the day, the goal is that students would have an understanding to the process of research that comes right down to ethics. How do you do those methodologies that are appropriate to the questions that you're answering? How do you collect that data? How do you use those tools? And that's where the professional collaborative approach comes into play when you disseminate research. So it will be a very in-depth, yet small, if you want, thesis, but we're confident. I'm not sure if there's a question here, and this has sort of been one of my personal visions for this capstone project, that if students wanted to pursue a PhD or any other post-education and get competitive in other more mainstream research programs, is the tools that you would gain under this research capstone project could absolutely be leveraged off, and you would absolutely be competitive to continue on the journey of a doctoral degree, for instance, if you were interested.
Thank you, Tamara. There are two very big questions, and I see on the screen there are also about the courses. I want to go for the two big. One is about placement and future opportunity, which is brighter news for you. So will UBC help you getting a job after completing the program, and where's the placement rough area? So I want to combine those two together. First of all, I will give you a very great news that you don't need UBC to help you find a job. Registered dietitian is a very hot and required profession, and it's listed on the BC Ministry of Labor's list. In the next 10 years, we are the profession that is needed wildly across the BC. Okay, so you don't need that. And I can give you one example that our undergrad student to our international student, it is very hard for international students, to get into the health authority job if they just graduated because of, certain, union agreement and this and that. However, when they finish their placement this year in summer, they've been offered a job directly from health authority. So it is very needed now in BC. And will UBC help you find a placement? Yes, this is a part of the curriculum and courses. So compared to other program, which is not integrated program, the placement part is guaranteed. We will find it. However, across BC, things is changing, and preceptor move around the job switch. So when we find a placement, there's a lot of change with that. We're trying to keep the placement, spread out, not only lower mainland, but also want to provide experience supporting the rural area and northern area, island, spread out in the province. So when you get into the program, we wish you agree, and also not wish you, but you will need to be agreed that you are okay with we arrange placement, and we will have 1 or 2 placement out of the town, and the student will go there to explore and learn from outside. There's a great experience there. And the rough area, so I said it can be anywhere. And the point is you step into a placement, it's a topic, maybe nutrition care, 1, 2, 3, or population health or management or research. There's a topic there. The purpose of placing you there is to get an experience and learn about the core part and practice it. So that's the part I want to talk. I'm going to tick off those 2 questions. Okay, so coming up, there's also some of the questions about courses. I'm going to go through quickly. There's no expiration for There's no expiration for the courses. It's not something that we will double check as expire or not, as long as it is, completed and meet the requirement 72 above. And if you worry about that the course we cannot locate, you can always hand in the syllabus for us to review. If I have a degree from Mexico, but I have never talented any of the prerequisite courses you listed, shall I start with the undergrad program, also 28 months? So to be clear, the undergrad program is not 28 months. It is 3 years. and it's starting from the third year. So you will need the first 2 year 54 credits. Okay, it's a total 146.5 credits for that whole undergrad degree. So it couldn't be that shortened in 28 months. So you can try again. I said, if you're an international student and you have a nutrition background or any kind of kinesiology background, and you look at our prerequisite courses, you need to think about, oh, is there any course and knowledge I have completed in my own course list? Can I find some document to support my application? Is there a syllabus that I can upload it and put into the application for us to review? Until the end of the day, when application funnels through me, I'm not going to turn away that, oh, this person have no prerequisite, bye-bye. It's not the way we handle the application. All our applications go to my hands, are being reviewed. Even some of the cases when Leah Iris forward to me and say the student is not meeting the minimum GPA requirement, we still review it, and the case will be proposed to the admission committee, and they will take a look deeply. And I will highlight that this student course is not listed. It should pay attention to review it, and the admission committee will take a look at your course syllabus. We'll look at how you complete those courses. So we don't want to make a lot of barrier for international students and struggling about, oh, I don't have prerequisites and how I can apply this. You will need to think about your learning history. Is there something that really saying about those 5 subjects? Okay. Any specialization in dietetics by doing residence, for example? Okay. Tamara and Anna are shaking their heads. There's no. The answer is no.
No.
Okay, so do you offer a postgraduate permit for a foreign student if take any of those program? Okay, so yes, so this is a little bit out of what we should say, but the program is over 2 years. So if you check IRCC website, it said clearly that after 2 years, if it's a 2-year program, you get 3-year work permit. And if you want to know more about getting work permit, postgraduate work permit, there's always international student services you can contact. Also, during your program, if you are an international student, we as program side work together with the international student services. Will get you a co-op work permit. Really, it's not really a co-op work, but that kind of the document and support we will assist you if you're an international student. Could you describe a type of person who successfully get admitted to the program and graduate to be an RD? So we have not got one student graduate yet because we just got the first cohort last year. But I guess Tamara and Anna knows more about like our undergrad students, like how they successfully get through and become an RD.
Yeah, I think what's quite unique to this program, and also the undergrad, but we're here today talking about this one, is that we're really looking for people with different lived experiences. So if you don't know anything about nutritional science, but you come with all the strong prerequisites and just that curiosity to learn about dietetics and become a dietitian, then that's what we're looking for. So as Xinyan said, I mean, we have people from all different walks of life and all different backgrounds, from geography, as he mentioned, business. We even have a mechanic in the undergrad program. We've had a police officer, but they all have similar interests in helping people, working towards our mission and vision as a program collectively, and have curiosity about the dietetic practice. So there isn't a perfect formula, and I think that's what's quite unique in that the prerequisites that we've set for this program are rather low, if you want. They're not low in terms of quality, but in terms of numbers, there's very few, in that we really, really are committed to diversifying the students who are welcome to our program and diversifying the dietetic practice. And I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Anna? Yeah.
No, that's exactly it. There's just so many, there's not one way to be a star candidate or whatever for the program. There's so many, it's really that combination of, obviously meeting the prerequisites, but really just having passion and, understanding a little bit about the dietetics profession in Canada, because it does vary. Across Canada it's the same, but it does vary from country to country. So having an understanding of what dietitians do is very helpful so that you know what you're getting into. And yeah, just really having a passion for nutrition and food.
Thank you. Well, there are still questions about the courses. I want to funnel you guys, just send me an email for your unique course questions, because we only have like 6 minutes left. So I want to talk about like some of the part that students are questioning about their non-academic competency part. So any recommendation for volunteer work experience in the nutrition field if you don't have a nutrition background? So same thing I talk with undergrad student is that it is hard to find a nutrition or working for a dietitian, even in BC sometimes. It is challenging, especially after the pandemic. The idea to look at your competency is not limited to just nutrition background. It is great, you have those knowledge and experience, but also if the most part we are looking at is your interperson skill. How you communicate with people and how you do a problem solving cases. If you do a project, how you manage a project. If you are working with a team, are you a team player? So those are the pieces we are looking for, and those does not need to limit in the nutrition field. Like I said, we have admitted students from MBA background. So of course they have a lot of project based or I just mentioned about something flushed my mind. Anyway, they're doing a lot of teamwork, project basis, right? So they talk to people. You volunteer cases that you in the community. You lead a group of students doing this and that. Those are all of the pieces that we can assess that not limited to nutrition. Okay, but if you really want to ask, that you can look up, maybe. Food bank. We have like food banks or community nutrition program, or publicly there's nutrition workshop, or some of the public health part they are organizing events. Those are the places you can go ahead and look. So yeah, and we have 4 minutes more. So another part is this, like the students are asking about, I don't have prerequisite, I want to take it at UBC, I'm an international student. So there's a little bit limitation on our end to give advice for students from international background. We don't know how course is being organized and structured in your country, and it's being a little bit hard for you to take courses in Canada. So you will need to use the prerequisite checklist to look up your own courses. You need to find a course cover those things in your own country. And when you submit the application, make sure you attach the syllabus, and the syllabus needs to be in English. Retake the course, I talk about that. Oh, and also for people in the workforce for so long, like 6 years, you work, in the field. It's hard for you to talk to the professor to find an academic one. You can shoot me an email, and I will make on a note in the application that it is okay for us to accept 3 professional reference. We're not just saying that this is golden rules for everyone, but it is for students or for applicants who have been in the field for so long it's hard to connect with academic, then it is okay. And I also want to talk about deferral of the admission, because things happen in your life. You submit your application, you are great applicants, you go through everything, welcome you to the interview, you complete everything, we give you the offer, and you say, I want to defer. So for our program, because of the placement and practice education component, if you want to defer, it will be a full year defer. Okay, so if next year you say, I cannot start in September 2023, okay, so the defer will be 2024 September.
And also, the other thing was generally we don't just like accept deferrals for any reason. It's more like if there's we'll you sort of have to explain to us what's happening and kind of what we can do, and then we'll make a decision about whether to request a deferral or not. So it's not just like an automatic thing, because it is, that's another piece to it. But just, it is possible, but it requires some thoughtfulness and
Thank you, Anna, for this part. So is admission mostly based on grades or other experience? Yes, I spent a lot of time today talking about courses. However, the application is assessed broadly, not only just academic. I said this is a very important ingredient, yes, but there's other part that showcase who you are. So working on the letter of intent, work on your resume, polish it, and showcase really telling us who you are. And when the admission committee is reviewing things, we combine all of the aspects together and think about, like, are you the person fitting the program? Can you be shortlisted? So it's not just academic. Okay. I can take one more question. So I said if you have questions like credit-based, 72 lower, how I deal with this, shoot me an email. We can have one-on-one or email back and forth to discuss your own case. And I want to say something general. Let me see. Okay, so does a health coaching program with Institution for Integrated Nutrition count as any prerequisite courses? So the same thing, if it's not under the course list, and you need to showcase the course syllabus. Some of the students do ask us before, like, I take a Purdue online human physiology course. We take a look at that, and it does not count. Why? The course does not have a component of certain hours of commitment. It does not say clearly if the course is being examined. Is there a sit-down exam, or how the course is being assessed? How many hours and time you committed to this? So there's aspect we can assess this course whether the course is equivalent to us or not. Okay, so time goes to 5 and we schedule for an hour, so probably I will close by here. And thank you so much everyone for joining us today. And at the end, if you have questions, as I mentioned, you can email dietetics.admissions@ubc.ca, and I will try to respond to you within 2 to 3 business days. If I'm very busy, maybe 4 to 5 business days, but you will get it back from me. Okay, so that's everything for today, and thank you so much for everyone joining us, and we look forward to your application.
Recording stopped.